Hey, crew, and welcome back. I am back from my little summer hiatus. I took a little summer break from everything, really, except for Amazon selling, but to just decompress and enjoy the summertime here before it gets into the deeper summertime where it's like 100 degrees all day, every day. Yeah. Anywho, I'm excited because we are leading into Q4, and this is part of the Q4 prep series I am doing. And I wanted to reach out to other Amazon software. So you've heard me talk about, and other community members talk about all the softwares they use, but I wanted to dig into the softwares and talk to the software people themselves. So the founders, the people who work for the companies, who build the softwares, who've sold on Amazon, all that kind of stuff, and why these softwares even came to be in the first place. And as you're going to hear, a lot of them are because they had a need, sellers' pain points. They were doing it themselves. They saw what the communities out there, what they needed, and that is how these softwares were born. Today, I'm excited to talk to Matt. So Matt is with BuyBotPro, ProfitProtectorPro, Sellify, and Skewify. Now, some of those might be foreign names to you because they are big in the UK. They are like the UK originals. However, I'm sure you've heard of BuyBotPro from myself and Profit Protector Pro, which is their repricer. So I'm really excited to dig in and see how these softwares work, do they work together, and how we can use them in our own Amazon businesses. Hi, and welcome to Your Selling Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Kirk, aka Your Selling Guide. In 2017, I quit a steady corporate desk job to travel the US in an RV. Along the way, I started selling on Amazon, grew multiple successful businesses, and wound up back to my roots as a small town girl. Today, I'm still doing what I love, selling on Amazon and helping other sellers start and grow their own online businesses. Each week on Your Selling Podcast, we will cover different aspects of selling online and highlight other sellers just like you and I. From part-time sellers creating extra income on the side to full-time sellers growing million-dollar businesses. Think of this as a sit-down with your Amazon bestie where we can learn and grow our online businesses together. Welcome to Your Selling Podcast. Welcome, Matt, to the podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time because you are over in the UK, so we're on a bit of a time difference here. And I am just really excited to chat with you, mostly for the repricer, but also I just like hearing your accent.
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that because I like hearing yours as well. So
That's so funny.
I can try and do an American accent if you want me
Oh,
to.
yes. Let's do it.
So welcome to the You're Selling podcast. I like cheeseburgers.
Oh my gosh. So anytime, say we're already on a tangent, anytime I watch Harry Potter, I start going, Harry, and I like do all the little accents. So
That was pretty
I
good.
guess I can't do it either. It's different doing it. Like it's fine doing it in front of Americans, right? But doing it in front of a British person is a little bit scary.
It's all right. I won't
Uh,
judge you. I mean, that Harry was pretty much perfect. Like you'd fit in well if you're walking around saying Harry to everyone. So.
oh my gosh, that's so funny. Thank you. Yours was very good as well. Okay, so that was fun. Okay, so, but really what I wanted to talk to you about is you are with a company who has a ton of software that helps Amazon sellers, namely Profit Protector Pro and BuyBot Pro, but also in the UK, there's some other ones. So, with that, how did these companies even come to be? What do they offer Amazon sellers? All that jazz.
Okay. So we're going for an origin story, right? I guess I'll start by giving you sort of like a brief introduction to the company owners. So the company owners, a guy called Matt Webley and a lady called Karen Hudson. So both of them have got like years and years and years and years and years worth of experience in e-commerce, making money online, and they've tried all manner of different ways, selling info products, things like that. And then obviously Amazon was one of those things that they tried and carried on for years and years and years, and really liked the model, had a lot of success from it. And prior to the days of BuyBotPro, so for any just to go, just to sort of like take a couple of steps forward, BuyBotPro is like the original like deal analysis tool of its kind. Like it is the first, and a lot of the features in there are like world's first features. Like were literally invented by us. But before the days of BuyBotPro, analyzing deals was really hard. Anyone that has done Amazon prior to when deal analysis tools went on the rise, will know that to be true. And I've actually tried analyzing without a deal analysis tool, and it is really tough. Um, so Matt had a virtual assistant called Becky. I don't know which one she prefers, but anyway, she would obviously do the sourcing, and then she would try and compile bits of information from here, there, and everywhere about each item that she found. And obviously, it takes a while to do that. You scrape what you can off of the Amazon page. You sort of like do a bit of research online. You use the Amazon calculator to figure out your fees and such, and it like then you compile all these scraps together. But even then, it was hard to make a super confident decision about the item. There's still lots of things that you couldn't be quite sure about. And so basically in Matt's mind, it was, I'm saying Matt, I'm also Matt as well. I know it's confusing, but um, in Matt Webley's mind, he was thinking, wouldn't it just be great if there was just something that could do Beck's job, but tell me even more, like even more stuff, just all in one place. Like, wouldn't that be great? And then bing, deal analysis tool. And so then time passes. Him and Karen hire a team of developers, put all these ideas into place, and then BuyBotPro is birthed. Fun fact: it wasn't actually going to be called BuyBotPro. When the name ideas were laid out on the table, because the idea of it was it's basically going to be doing Beck the virtual assistant's job. Let's call it BeckyBot Pro. And that was just one of the ideas on the table. But no, from release, obviously till now, it's always been BuyBot Pro. So that's where that one came from. And then all of the other softwares just followed on suit. So as and when there was sort of like a major need for something, that's where we've come along and created a software solution for it.
That is so funny. I can't even imagine it being called, BeckyBotPro. Is that what you said it was gonna yeah. So that is so funny because it really started as a need. Like, they were selling on Amazon, they had a need, and so you don't always think, and I say this as a business owner as well, like, long term, and so I've seen lots of businesses have names that they don't actually is how they started. Like, here in the US, one is called Sit and Sleep, where it was a futon store. So you could sit and sleep, but now they sell all other kinds of furnitures and stuff. So it's just like you get niched in. So I'm glad that someone down the line was like, wait a second, let's think long term here.
Yeah.
So do they still sell? Does Matt still sell on Amazon, or is he fully into the software kind
To
of?
be fair, they've got their fingers in lots of various like business pies, but the biggest one now, because it's all like the main focus is the software now. Like the softwares are their babies. So that's where the focus is now. But yeah, there's other members of our team as well that do sell on Amazon. I'm sure they still do bits and pieces. So yeah, the primary focus is on all of the softwares now.
Yeah, I can't even imagine, like, when you see everything and you see, like, what you're working on and you're like, see Amazon. I know I've had people who worked for me are like, "Wait a second," like, they don't know anything about Amazon and they kinda get intrigued by seeing everything, so that makes sense that there's people on the team that still do it.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a, like, community, like, any Facebook groups or anything that you talk to sellers and, like, fill out their needs, or is it just, like,
Oh
help
yeah.
in conversations?
Yeah, 100%. So we've got a dedicated Facebook group for every software. So there's a Facebook group for BuyBotPro, there's a Facebook group for ProfitProtectorPro. Anyone that has any sort of like questions, suggestions, even, they're more than welcome to put them in the groups, or if they reach out to our support emails. So we offer 24/7 support, so you can literally reach out anytime, and someone will be there to respond to you. Any suggestions that we get, we've basically got a features list for each software. And what we'll do is we'll add, like, no idea is a silly idea. So we'll add whatever it is to those lists, and they get reviewed regularly. Anything that we can implement, we will. So at this point in time, I would say definitely at least half the things in BuyWhat Pro alone literally came from client suggestions. It just makes sense, I mean, like we've got to listen to everyone that's actually using it, whereby it might be they use a feature, they love it, and they think, I really like this feature, but if only it could do this as well, or they have a brand new idea. It would be foolish not to listen to those things. So yeah, absolutely, any suggestions, anything like that, we always listen to them and add them to our lists.
Is it free, like, anyone can join even if they don't currently using your software?
Yeah, anyone can join the Facebook groups, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of, I'm in some of the software groups and there is you learn things just I say this all the time, but talk which is why I have the podcast. Talking to other sellers, you're always learning something. But that's cool that you have those and you're taking direct feedback. Um, how did Profit Protector Pro come to be? Because I have heard so many great things about it. It's the repricer I'm currently using now. And so I have yet to set it up, but I'm going to start using it. And I'm really excited because my last repricer I won't talk about, but I did not like them, which I have talked about. But so I've only heard great things about it and I am excited to dig in. So how did that come to be?
I appreciate that. Yeah, so Profit Protector Pro is literally only exists because it solves a massive problem that every Amazon seller faces. And if you're watching this and you haven't faced it yet, either I would say you're relatively new to Amazon or you've been extremely lucky. So price tanking, massive problem. I mean, I don't need to go too much into that. We know how much that sucks. You know, you do all that work, you do your sourcing, you do your analysis, you think, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a great profit on this product. And then you join the listing, then someone else comes along and boom, topples that listing. Everyone starts like pricing downwards in order to be competitive and to try and secure that buy box. But even if you win it, it's at that low price, then it's quite an uphill battle from there. It's quite tough. And then like it's just not fair. You're selling for that low price. It kills the profit potential on a listing. You might end up selling for your break even or for a loss. And it sucks. That's not what we got into Amazon for. So this is one of the big problems that Profit Protector Pro solves. So um, there were other repricers before Profit Protector Pro, and basically what they would do, sure, they would do a great job at securing the buy box, but it's kind of at a like by whatever like by whatever means necessary sort of deal. So they win the buy box and like that's it, their job's done. But it doesn't solve that problem. You can still be selling for that low price whereby the prices on the listing got tanked. And again, it sucks. And it doesn't make sense to have a repricer that wins you the buy box at that low price, as our thoughts. And so this is where we came up with the idea for basically upwards repricing. So winning the buy box is just where it should be getting started. And Profit Protector Pro, I mean, clues in the name, it literally protects profits. So we tend to call it like an anti-tanker, which is exactly what it does. So I mean, there's lots of different strategies in there, and which one you choose depends on what your focuses are. Um, but to boil it down into a nutshell, basically, once it wins the buy box, it then works to bump that price up through very clever strategic pricing decisions. And it will always try its best to make you as much money on that listing as it possibly can. And everyone that has either never used a repricer before or has come from one of those whereby it's one of those reprices where the focus is just winning the buy box and that's it. I love hearing all of the feedback that people give. I love, how much it's helping people in terms of additional profit that gets made just through using strategies that will bump that price up. That really does help out your profit potential. Because then when you do all of that work with your sourcing, your analysis, and so forth, and you think, oh yeah, this can make me so much. Instead of thinking, oh, but it could get tanked. Now you can be a bit more like, I mean, this is going to make you a profit, but applying this repricer to it, it could do even better. So that's
So
where it came about.
that's awesome. And it does its own AI thing, right? In the background,
Yes.
like
So
you can choose.
what we're really proud of is the fact. So we offer all of the rule-based strategies that lots of people will know. So just the basic things like matching buy box, penny, and da 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 da. Da. But yeah, all of the upwards repricing comes from the artificial intelligence that drives all of the algorithmic strategies, and it's unbelievably clever. It will look at your unique scenario on that listing. It assesses so many things about a listing. It'll look at your competitors' fulfillment methods, their stock, the prices, how they move, any patterns, how the buy box like rotates around. It looks at so many things that it takes into account in order to make those clever decisions. Yeah, which is how it does the upwards repricing.
How often is it like repricing if it needs to? Like, is it every like couple of minutes or once an hour or
So it's basically as and when it needs to. It's instant repricing. So for some of the reprices out there, they'll only do so many reprices per hour, which I mean to me just doesn't make sense. You need to reprice as and when you can. Um, so as soon as anything happens, if it needs to react, then it will. Um, if things are fairly stationary on the listing, I mean, it depends on the situation really, but it will just sort of like test the waters a little bit and maybe like move it up a little bit, see if everyone else moves up as well. But yeah, pretty much as soon as anything happens, that's when it will react and reprice.
That's one of the feedback that I've heard a lot from the community is that they're like, "It actually bumps up the price and it does all this stuff." Because I know when I was setting up the other one last year, it like, the default was to drop a penny, which I was like, "No," and it just blows my mind that that's a software repricer's default. Like, that's so, I don't know, 2010? Like, that's so old. I can't believe that's still a thing because then if someone else has a repricer, theirs is gonna also drop by a penny, and it just causes that tank to the bottom, which I know I'm not sure how bad it is in the UK, but it's really bad here in the US over the last year, really bad. So, hopefully it's not as bad where you guys are, but yeah.
I mean, I know that price tanking is a massive issue. I think it's the same case everywhere, to be honest. I follow so many like TikTok channels and like forums like devoted to like Amazon. Lots of UK sellers do talk about the price tanking issue. Um, but yeah, obviously with Profit Protect Pro, you don't really have to worry about that much anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey crew, is your Amazon business set up for success this year? Do you know how much profit you really made on the item you just sold? Or what about this? Do you notice when the Amazon FBA fees change on a product in your inventory? These are just some of the reasons why I love Sellerboard and why I've partnered with them on the You're Selling podcast. I have been using Sellerboard for 4 years now, and I absolutely do not know how I would run my business without it. I love how simple Sellerboard is to use. The desktop version is set up so easy. As soon as you connect your Amazon account, all of your products from the past, anything you've ever sold is gonna flow into that. And the way I love it and use it the most is actually when I'm outsourcing. I have Sellerboard app right on my phone and I can visually see the images of the products I'm selling today, yesterday, last month, last year, whatever I want to look at, I can see it in real time right on my Sellerboard app. Sellerboard is an affordable must-have tool for all Amazon sellers. And as listeners of this podcast, they have given you 2 months free to try it out for yourself. There's absolutely no credit card required to sign up, and you can cancel at any time. Head to yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit to set up your free trial today. Again, yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit to get your 2-month free trial today. And you guys have videos on YouTube, right, that walk people through how to do it. I will say that when this podcast comes out, my video on how to set up Profit Protector Pro will be coming out, I think like 3 days later. I might figure out how to do it ahead of time, so it's already out. But I will link everything so everyone can watch my video of how to do it. But you also have videos, right, of like how to set everything up for users?
Yeah, exactly. So in the softwares themselves, they've got a section whereby you can work through the training videos. So by the time you finish them, you'll be a BuyBotPro or a Profit Protect Pro expert. And if you need a bit more than that, then I do new YouTube channels, new YouTube videos every single week. So it's not just tutorials as well. It's not just like tips and tricks. It'll also be sort of like general, sort of like Amazon advice and things like that. So I like to
Nice.
mix it up a little bit. So there's a bit of something there for everyone on all of the YouTube channels.
That's awesome. So you have a whole ecosystem of softwares, really. So there's the repricer, but before you even get to that, there's the BuyBot Pro, which is the deals analysis. What does that entail? Like, what is involved in all of what's everything it has?
Okay. So yeah, BuyBot Pro will basically tell you everything that you need to know about an item and then some. So obviously, it will tell you things like how much profit you're going to make, your ROI and such based on the buy price, sell price, all of the costs and fees and such. It'll take all of that into account. But obviously, to know if an item's going to work out, we need to know more than that. So what BuyBotPro will do, it will tell you, for example, if you're eligible to sell, let you know if you need to get ungated in a certain category. It's got one of the largest IP databases that any deal analysis tool has. So last time I checked, it's got like 5,000 plus brands that it consistently monitors for IP issues. And that's partly because we have a sister company called Getting Suspended, and they help Amazon sellers that have like suspension issues and things like that. So any brands that they become aware of, they share that with BuyBotPro, which is why the database is as large as it is. And obviously, anyone that reaches out and emails us and goes, "Hey, I've had a problem with X, Y, and Z," again, that's something that we'll add to it. So yeah, it's one of the largest IP databases. Um, it will it will show you basically the history of that product via charts, where you can basically see the buy box price history, the BSR history, like the average FBA price, FBM price, how that's fluctuated over time. So you can very easily establish, are there any patterns here? Does it sell better at a particular time of year? Is there consistency? You can see buy box possession rate, so you can see which seller has had like the most possession over the buy box, if it's shared equally, if it's dominated by one particular seller. Um, there's virtual assistant facilities in there as well. So if you have any virtual assistants that work with you, you can get them to use BuyBotPro. They can submit deals to you via a little toolbox in the extension itself. So you can monitor their work times. You can see the deals that they've submitted. You can set criteria for them, so they've got that to hand all the time when they're analyzing. It even takes screenshots as well. So particularly when you hire new virtual assistants, like you need to make sure that they're doing what they're meant to be doing, what you're paying them to do. And so what it will do is take sort of like very discrete sort of like screenshots whilst their work time is running. So that way you can look back and, make sure that they're actually on task and, as I say, doing what you're paying them to do. Yes. What else? Yeah, there's a wholesale feature in there as well. So for anyone that does wholesale, and as you know, you receive your product spreadsheets from suppliers. Obviously, there can be so many things in there, and if you were to try and figure out which ones you want to go ahead with, you've got to analyze before. You'd have to analyze one by one. But now with this BuyBot wholesale feature, you can basically upload the entire spreadsheet and it will analyze everything in there. And it's very quick at doing it as well. And then produce a list of analysis results for every single item. And you can filter and sort through them to basically cherry pick the ones that would suit you best from that list. Yeah.
Okay.
There's also a retail arbitrage app as well. So yeah, there's something for everyone.
That is amazing because I didn't know it could do that, and I can use that, like, right now, even though I'm doing, like, a retail arbitrage wholesale. I say wholesale-ish because 'cause I'm not looking one to one, I'm making bundles out of them. However, if there's one I can sell one to one, like, buy it and sell it, I absolutely will. So I use another more expensive, way more expensive software, I'm sure my listeners know what it is, that I don't have to have that because I have BuyBotPro, so I did not know it has that, so I'm glad we're chatting today. I'm gonna start using that. That's awesome. Okay, so with the 2, like, an Amazon seller, like, you pretty much are covering it from the start of, like, you're doing your data analysis to you've sent it in, and now you're doing the Profit Protection Pro with that, but I know in the UK, you guys have even more stuff, and I'm really excited because it sounds awesome. So what's the other s softwares in your
Yeah.
wheelhouse?
So for obviously anyone watching in the UK, you may be familiar with these tools, you may not be. And for anyone obviously watching in the US, all of this is coming very soon. Don't worry. So I'll just give you a bit of a flavor for these two other softwares that we have. So the first one I'll talk about is Skewify, because that'll be the one that will probably be coming next to the US. So Skewify is all about inventory management, profit analytics. So basically, it's like a really nice looking Amazon dashboard. It's really easy to understand, really sleek. You can basically just, you by looking at that, you can understand how much money you're actually making in your business. Without a tool like that, it's a case of having, spreadsheet world on your laptop or computer. Numerous spreadsheets for I know every single sale, trying to work out your profit and loss for the month, all that kind of stuff. And it's a lot of manual work and spreadsheets everywhere. And I don't know about you, but I'm not really a fan of spreadsheets. So um, So basically that saves all of that work. So you can understand how much money you make in real time. It will um, basically track every sale for you, tell you how much profit you've made, total up all of the fees and such. You can add in all of your cost of goods. It will monitor those as well, from the point when you order your products to the point when they're received at Amazon. It will show you the journey that they make, and in that journey between you ordering it and it being received at Amazon, if anything goes missing or gets damaged, we need to be aware of that, because anything that we're not aware of, it's money and products down the drain. And so what it has, it's got a page called the reconciliation page. Anything that goes missing or gets damaged, it will show you in a list. And basically, with a couple of clicks, you can seek a reimbursement from Amazon from that page. So anything that's, I know, an item that's gone missing, there's a button on it that you click, and it comes up with a pre-built sort of like text template that tells Amazon everything they need to know about that product in order to get the ball rolling with seeking a reimbursement. So then you just follow the link to Amazon, copy and paste that message, boom, done within seconds. You can track your expenses as well. It's also, I mean, all of our tools are integrated. I'll talk about integrations a little bit later on when I've talked about the next tool as well. That makes sense. But yeah, that's basically Skewify. And as I say, that is coming. That's our next software that's coming to the US very, very soon. I don't have an exact ETA right now, but it, like, very, very soon, it's our priority. So yeah, that's Skewify. And the other software that we have as well, so this one came out late last year, so around December time this came out. It's called Sellability, and it's basically to really enhance your sourcing process. So in the software, I'll talk about it. It will definitely change by the time it reaches the US. Like, there'll be a lot more, but it basically has a database of well-known retailers. So in the UK, it'll be so it's places like Argos, B&M, HMV, all sort of like high street names. You're probably looking at me thinking, what?
I don't
um,
know any of them, but yeah.
but yeah, so anyone in the UK, you'll know what I'm talking about. And in the US, there'll be sort of like popular US retailers added in there as well at that point when it is released. But anyway, all you do is just select the retailers that you're interested in, and it will basically scan through the website and scrape all of the profitable deals from that site. You'll have a list of completed results. You then just apply your own criteria, like stuff that you'd look out for in a deal. And there's some very extensive filtering in there, so you can really narrow it down to a T what exactly it is that you're looking for. And then you just obviously apply that, cherry pick the ones that work best for your business. If you have a particular niche, you're interested in a certain category or something like that, you can actually just select the category, and then it breaks it down into a subcategory as well. So you can go really, really niche with it. You just choose the category or subcategories that you're interested in, and it will look through all of the retailers to find all of the deals that are in that category that are profitable. Same thing with that. Again, apply your own personal criteria, cherry pick what works best for you and your business. It also has a very similar wholesale feature as well. So within Sellability, you can also upload wholesale sheets there too. And you can get your virtual assistants working with you on it as well. So it's got a, I don't know how to explain, like a pipe system. So the plan that you sign up for determines how many pipes you have, like, in your plan. So for example, if you have the 3-pipe plan, up to three stores can be scanned at any one time. And obviously, if you were to select any more
Okay.
than that, it just adds it to a queue. So it's how many can be passed through the pipe, if that makes sense. So like, if you have virtual assistants and say you've got like the 5-pipe plan, you can be scanning through things, they can be scanning through things, and it all go through those pipes. And so you can work together on it, which is the great thing about it.
Oh, that's awesome. So you did mention they work together. So that was going to be my question. So if I enter a cost of good in BuyBotPro, does that sync through to my repricer? Like,
So I'll go through the integration sort of like ecosystem as well. So yeah, one of the big things that we like to sort of like emphasize about our software ecosystem is the fact that they do all work together. It just makes things a whole lot easier. You get cut a couple of corners. It just feels so much more comfortable to use. So like, between BuyBotPro and ProfitProtectorPro, you can actually set up your items for repricing in advance. And if anyone's wondering what the perk of doing that is, basically, you get repricing a whole lot sooner. So if you were to add a product to your Seller Central, normally you've got to then wait for Amazon to send that data through to the repricer. And then it's down to whenever it is that you find the time to set up the repricing information and turn it on. By the time you've done that, you could have potentially lost hours worth of repricing time, which, could also then be hours worth of making sales, making profits, and so forth. So with that integration, um, obviously it will know the buy price and such because you've got that in BuyBotPro. You can set up your min and max price repricing strategy and send that directly through to Profit Protector Pro from BuyBotPro. And all it then needs to do is grab the SKU from Amazon, which it will do very quickly because it's got everything else, and it will start repricing straight away. You don't have to do anything else. Um, so that's how that works. Um, BuyBot Pro and Skewify also work quite nicely together. So obviously, with just Skewify on its own, when you go about entering in your cost of goods for an item and such, obviously you can set up ways to get it to do that easier, but there's still a bit of manual work involved with that. But BuyBot Pro works out your cost of goods. So you can just use the integration to export whatever it is you've analyzed to Skewify, and all the cost of goods are already in there straight away because BuyBot Pro's worked it out. There's a repricing page within Skewify as well. So maybe you're doing a bit of inventory management and you think, hold on a minute, I could, change the min price on this. You can do that from within Skewify. And how they work with sellability is basically you can add your BuyBot Pro to it, and it will give you more analysis information about the products that it's found in its like completed scan list. So therefore, you wouldn't necessarily need to go on and do a full deal analysis because you've got more there already on that page. So sourcing and deal analysis done at once. And how it works with Profit Protector Pro is there's a similar thing in there as well, whereby you can then set up for repricing in advance. So you can do your sourcing deal analysis, get it set up for repricing like all in one place, in a sense, just through these little integrations. And one of our biggest things that we're doing this year is adding more integrations to the tools. So they'll all talk to each other a whole lot more. There'll be more things that you can do with them.
That's amazing because, yeah, I can't even tell you how many times I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that shipment I sent 2 weeks ago, I need to go in and set up the repricer." So that is very exciting, and I was gonna say there's definitely perks because there's softwares around that do all these things, but they don't talk to each other, and since you guys are all one ecosystem, they all talk to each other, and that is a huge, like, manual work pain point to enter your cost of goods, to do all this stuff with some of the other ones. So that's amazing. That's really excited.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so for the listeners out there, I'm going to link all of the softwares, even the UK ones, which sad we don't have yet. But anyways, we will soon. What is the best? So it's buybotpro.com right?
Yeah, so buybotpro.com, profitprotectorpro.com. If you want to get a flavor of what Skewify looks like, and sellability as well before it's released, you can check them out via skewify.com, sellability.com if you just want a brief insight. There's YouTube channels for each one, as I say. So again, if you wanted to sort of like get a bit more in depth of what exactly they can do, then by all means, feel free to check them out.
We'll be ahead of the curve. And you offer free trials on all of them, right? I saw Profit Protector Pro as a 14-day free trial.
Yeah, so BuyBot Pro and Profit Protector Pro and Skewify as well, they all have free trials. So yeah, you can use them in full. Um, uh, sorry, yeah, you can use them in full. No obligations, so test them out, see how they work for you. Hopefully you love them, so you carry on. But if not, no worries. You can just reach out and we can cancel them for you. Sellability doesn't have a free trial just because of the nature of the software. Because you, in a sense, from the very start, you would be able to get profitable deals from it. But the great thing about all of our softwares is that you get grandfathered into the price, and not many of the software not many of our competitors, not many of the software companies will do that sort of thing. So the price that you sign up for, you're locked into for life. So particularly if you get in on these things right at the very start. So when Skewify comes out in the US, for example, it will no doubt have a very, very nice offer attached to it. So if you get in on that, like as time goes on and more things get added in, therefore increasing the value and therefore the prices might go up, you'll be laughing because you'll be locked in at whatever price it is that you signed up for. So yeah, as long as you stay with us, the price for your plan won't change.
That's awesome. Yeah, and they're very affordable. I looked ahead of the show, that yeah, like, I think as of this recording, the repricer, if you wanna do just the month to month, was $60 a month, which I'm sure I know for me, I've the repricer would make me that money in a day. So it's
Yeah.
like you can cost of it, so they're very affordable, and I highly recommend checking it out. I've actually used BuyBotPro in the past. I'm gonna start using it more heavily this year, but it's because I loved it because I list FBM in store all the time, and there was no way for me to figure out what my break-even price, and I like to put that in my SKU. I make my own SKUs so that I know when I'm repricing, when I was doing it manually, what my lowest that I can go and, cut break even. And so I used it all the time in store whenever I list FBM because it very clearly it literally says break even. Like your break even, and it's impossible to tell on the Amazon app and some of the other apps. So I really loved it for that. So I definitely recommend to all the listeners, check it out, do the free trial. I'm sure you're gonna love it because I just having stuff speak to them each other is that in itself is game changer, and having the deals sent to the repricer from the start is also gonna save me time. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I wanna thank you so much for joining. What's the time difference there? So I'm recording this, it's like 10:45 in the morning. What are you at?
It's 4:45 in the afternoon.
Okay, so still working hours, so that's good. Not keeping you late. Well, thank you so much for joining, and I look forward to hearing more from you and
That's
the community at large on how they like using your software because I've already heard great things, so I'm sure it's only gonna
okay.
increase.
No, it's been great to be here. Thanks for having me.
As I mentioned, all of the tools and softwares are linked below in the show notes, so you can click on them whenever you have time to grab your phone if you're listening to this while you're driving or sourcing or whatever, whenever you're listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you would like to be featured on the podcast, I would love to chat with you. You can email me at podcast@yoursellingguide.com. And we are headed into the Q4 prep. So stay tuned because my Q4 Bolo group is opening again. It opens at the end of August, so more to come. Sign up for my email list if you haven't already, and you will be the first to know. Until next week, happy sourcing.